Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Spans here. Kung hindi niyo pa ako kilala, huwag niyo lang pansinin yung pusa ko. Ayan, no? Okay, so today in this episode, we're gonna talk about water tubing. If you haven't yet experienced that. This video, we're gonna talk about the expectations versus reality of water tubing. What you're gonna expect and what you're gonna get if you're gonna do the activity. Siyempre, in this video, we're gonna feature Calawag Mountain Resort in Tibiao Antique, because that is where we've done our water tubing together with the group. This is actually an old video before, but I haven't uploaded it yet, so maybe this is the best time to start expectation versus reality videos that I have, since hindi kami makapaglabas or travel or do our adventures kasi it's already rainy season here in the Philippines and we have to pick our schedule or our date so that the weather is fine. Before we proceed to the main video, let me go ahead and show you the highlights of our water tubing adventure, okay? Let's go! Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the highlights that we have for the water tubing event. Let's go ahead to the main content of the video, where I'm gonna give you the pros and cons, the reality, and then the expectations that you're gonna get when you're gonna do the adventure. But before I proceed, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and then follow my social media accounts. Spans on Facebook, Instagram. So ayan, since that you already watched the highlight, as you can see, very exciting yung water tubing, especially when you are running through the rapids of the river. Now I have here 6 points of the good things about the water tubing event, and then I have 4 points that you need to watch out. So let's go ahead and proceed to the good part. Okay, so number 1 is actually adrenaline. If you are an adrenaline junkie, if you are that person, then water tubing is the best activity for you if you are at Calawag Mountain Resort or any resort that has water tubing. Kasi depende naman yun, amount of water rapids that the river contains. Okay? In our case, maganda yung rapids doon, and then you can really feel the adrenaline, especially on those areas which have high drop points. Yan, maganda yun. Okay, so that's 1 point, adrenaline. Number 2 is, when you are doing the activity, ma-appreciate mo kung gaano kaganda yung river. Of course, syempre, if you're just watching the river from the river banks or sa sides, hindi mo ma-feel or hindi mo ma-appreciate yung river. When you're doing the water tubing activity, syempre, andun ka, mag-feel mo yung rapid, the ins and outs of the rivers, mag-feel mo. And at the same time, syempre, you'll see the river up close and personal. Makikita mo and then ma-appreciate mo yung river itself. So that's number 2. Number 3 is that kakaibang experience siya. If the normal thing that you do is magpa-picture lang sa mga spots or sa mga resorts, then this is a different experience for you. And I would suggest that you bring a GoPro or a action cam, a waterproof action cam on this activity para at least ma-document mo lahat-lahat, and then you can record and then watch it again. Kasi kakaibang experience siya if you haven't done the water tubing yet. That's number 3. Number 4, that feeling that you are in danger. Like for example, if you're going through the drop-off, kasi meron dong parang 1 meter na drop off na mahuhulog ka talaga. There are big rocks on both sides that you are gonna bump, and you're gonna feel fear. It's like a mixed feeling when you are doing the activity. On the other side, you have your fear. The other side, you have the excitement. And at the same time, pagkatapos yung sa rapid, then you can feel that the activity is actually safe for you and it's actually enjoyable. So ayan, so that's our number 4. And number 5, the activity actually makes you feel that you are young again, especially kung, you know, medyo matanda ka na, may edad ka na, and it's a refreshing feeling to do the activity kasi mararamdaman mo ulit yung nafe-feel mo nung bata ka pa, nung naglalaro kayo sa mga river. Ipapa-feel sa'yo ng activity na yon what it feels like before when you are, you know, kids and enjoying the activity itself or enjoying something. So that's number 5. And number 6 is the activity itself is actually enjoyable if you are bonding as a group. Syempre sa mga team building, family bonding, schoolmate adventure or school adventure, maganda siya kasi mas maganda kung madami kayo kasi you're gonna laugh at each other, you're gonna be experiencing the adrenaline together, so maganda siya. That's the one thing that I really noticed when we are doing the activity. Most of the people in that activity, actually, we don't know. Nag-enjoy kami kasi all of the time, tawanan. Mostly, nagbibiruan kami during that time, during the activity. So, maganda siya for bonding. So, those are 6 points that are good for that activity. Okay? So, right now, we're gonna move on to the reality part. The bad side of the water tubing. Siyempre, if there's a good side, then there's a bad side. Okay, so number 1 on the bad side. Mostly sa water tubing, if 100% yung expectation nyo, 75% of that is actually the boring part sa water tubing. So, I hate to break the news to you guys na 75% boring siya. Kasi, syempre, it's not all the time that the water rapids are that long. Syempre, spurts lang siya or small area lang. Diyan mo may experience yung rapid or yung mga free fall na, drops, water drops. So, it's around 25% exciting and then 75% boring. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you later on the points kung bakit boring siya. So, that's number 1. 25% exciting, 75% boring siya. Number 2, most of the time that you're doing the water tubing activity, you're gonna be rotating left and right kasi you're gonna bounce off of the rocks. And then, once you bounce off of the rocks, magro-rotate ka. And if you have problems, rotating, if masusuka ka, then that's a problem. Because you're gonna not feel well when all of the time that you're rotating. It's like, riding in octopus on those rides in the carnival. Kasi masusuka ka. If you have problems with that, then you have to, prepare yourself for the activity. Kasi most of the time, ikot na ikot ka. So, I have my friend Ivan, actually, he feels dizziness or like vomiting after nung water tubing namin. Kasi most of the time, umiikot lang na umiikot and then, mahihilo ka. Siyempre, masusuka ka afterwards. Parang ganyan. So, make sure that you prepare yourself. That's number 2. Number 3 is that, of course, when there is rapids and then water drop-offs, there is a big possibility that you're gonna get thrown out. So, expect that you're gonna get bruises. Siyempre, part yun ng activity. Prepare yourself all the time, protect yourself all the time, and then make sure that you listen to the instructors or to the guides kasi they are gonna instruct you on what you're going to do if ever that you're gonna get thrown out of the tube or yung sa salbabida. Okay, so that's number 3. Point number 3. All of the time, you're gonna get stuck on those rocks. Okay? So, dun na yung boring na part. Kasi, most of the time, you're gonna bump into the rock and then you're gonna get stuck. And then you'll have to wait for the guide to help you out, unstuck you from the rocks. There are times that you can actually wiggle yourself out of the rocks. And that time that you are stuck, you're gonna wait. Then, syempre, boring na part yan. So, yun lang yung bad part ng water tubing.
One thing that I would like to add on the boring part of the water tubing adventure or the water tubing activity is that most of the time, you're gonna have to wait for the group. During that time ng water tubing namin, we're like 15 to 20 people. When you are the first one to arrive on the non-rapid area, you're gonna have to wait for the rest of the group to arrive and then for some of the guides to catch up and then ipupush nila kayo for the next stage of the river. That wait time is kind of boring because you have to wait and you just have to be on the tube and then wait for the group. That is also part of the 75% boring part of the water tubing activity. Okay? And on top of that, the guides or the tube guys who are guiding you, they are actually quite a few people who's gonna be there. Siyempre, in the span of 2 kilometers of the river, magsaswap sila. So, first guy from there, we're gonna run sa front ng pack or sa front ng group and then they will catch you and then so on and so forth. So, siguro it's around 5 of them or 6 who's running through the 2 kilometers river rapids like that. So, in this part, you're gonna realize how hard it is if you will be on their shoes dun sa mga guides. Because they have to trek the river. Siyempre, stony yung area. Of course, there are times na they're gonna get injured. You're gonna realize how hard it is for them. So, I appreciate their effort on that activity. So, during that time, nilibre kami ni Surf Lord, the owner of the Calawag Mountain Resort, so that we can experience water tubing. And this video is part of my, contribution to them to help them. Okay? So, narealize ko talaga kung gaano kahirap yung dinadaanan nila just to give us a good experience for the water tubing. We sometimes overlook those efforts of those locals for us so that we can have a good time. Okay? So, that's it for my expectation versus reality video for water tubing in Calawag Mountain Resort. So if you are near in the area and you would like to visit Calawag Mountain Resort or any resort in Tibiao area, we've actually done a video backpacking on Tibiao. You can check that out. I'm gonna link in the description. Okay? Yung mga pinuntahan namin, you can also check kung anong magagandang areas na pwede nyo puntahan to give you extra experience or bagong experience na naman sa inyong mga adventures. Okay? So, I'm gonna end the video here. Make sure to just subscribe and then follow my social media accounts. Until next time, ride safe, travel more. I will see you in the next video, okay? Bye!